it's Marie Danner, resident in counseling with Center for Holistic Psychotherapy, and today I'm very excited to talk to you about the zones of regulation. The zones of regulation are a great tool when we're trying to teach littles how to express themselves through different emotions. Sometimes if we're working with a student or a child who is experiencing a lot of feelings, it can seem kind of overwhelming in that we don't really know how to help them or where to start. The first thing that we can do is start to help them learn how to express themselves, and that looks like being able to label feelings. I really like the zones because there are 4 different colors that associate with all the feelings that you could possibly imagine, and none of them are bad. There's a time and a place for every single feeling, and that's what we talk about with the zones. There's the green zone, the blue zone, the yellow zone, and the red zone. To start us off, we have the green zone. In the green zone, we are feeling content, we are feeling happy, we are feeling ready to learn, ready to listen. Our body is at a state of being very regulated. We're not worried about anything, we have no stressors, we're not feeling any big, intense emotion right now. We're easy to talk to, we're doing okay, and this is the zone that we want to be in. The other zones, we're going to be in those from time to time, and a lot of times we're going to cycle through all the zones throughout a day, if not all the zones multiple times. But the green zone makes it easiest for us to learn and easiest for us to communicate. So what we're going to be talking about today is what the different zones look like and what we can do to help regulate our bodies so that we're back at this green zone. The first zone I want to talk to you about after the green zone is the blue zone. The blue zone is when we are feeling sad, either our feelings are hurt or our bodies are hurt. We might be feeling sick, we might be feeling tired, we might be exhausted. And the things that we might need for coping skills to get us back to the green zone and get us back to feeling regulated might look different for each kiddo, but also it will look different for each feeling that's in the blue zone. For example, one feeling could be feeling very sad. And if we're feeling very sad, something that might help us could be talking to an adult. If we are feeling very tired or we're feeling bored, something might help is going for a nice walk. If we are feeling very sick, we might not be able to talk about that to be able to help us get back to the green zone of being ready to have a conversation. But at least if a student is able to tell us, hey, I'm feeling in the blue zone because I'm sick, then we have a better idea of maybe how we can help. If we're working with a child or a student who is saying that they are feeling in the blue zone because they are very sad, there is a wide scale of what sadness might look like. So you might be working with a child at home that is saying that they feel sad, but you might not be able to tell that they feel sad. While the zones could be a great tool because then they're able to tell you exactly how they're feeling where we might not know otherwise. Or maybe you're on the other end and you have a child that you're working with at home that when they are sad, they are enveloped with this sadness. They are having lots of tears and their body might be shaking, or they might just be having a really hard time being regulated. One of the things that we can do to help them get back into the green zone is help them co-regulate, which means not only are you encouraging them to breathe or move in a specific way, but you're actually doing it with them. One of the things that I have here in my office is a breathing ball, and this can be really helpful because it's a visual of when your child should be breathing in through their nose and out through their mouth. So when I open this, you can have your child breathe in and slowly have your child breathe out. And this is something that you could keep doing in a controlled, slow way. You don't need this breathing ball to have your child breathe slowly with you to co-regulate to get from the blue zone to the green zone. But having this might be helpful, or you can also use just your hands, the size of your hands. So when I open my hands, we're going to breathe in through our nose. And then when I close it, we're going to breathe out through our mouth. Because if you have a child at home that you are trying to get to talk about feelings with or understand how they're doing, if they are experiencing an intense sadness, right then and there, it is such a hard and difficult thing to do to have them talk about the specific thing that they might be upset about and to be able to reach a solution of what could be done to help them. So the first thing is getting back to that green zone to be able to be regulated, to have those conversations, to figure out what a solution could be. The next zone we have is the yellow zone. So the yellow zone can also look a lot of different ways. It could be if we are feeling very nervous about something. It could also be if we're feeling very excited about something. We might be wiggly because we have something that we're really looking forward to go do, but we also might be starting to get a little bit frustrated. We might be confused. We might be overwhelmed. We might feel silly. There's a lot of different things that we might feel in the yellow zone. And same as when we were talking about the blue zone, it might look different from kid to kid and also from emotion to emotion. So if you are working with a kid that you are trying to help them come down and be in that green zone to have a productive conversation, and let's say they are feeling really silly, they are very excited about something that's going on, and they're moving around a lot, they're very wiggly. Well, we can tell that their bodies want to wiggle and their bodies want to move, but the best way to go about that to help them get into the green zone is actually to do that in a very co-regulated way. A way to go about that would be to say, I see that you're really wiggly right now, and I definitely want to help you get some of those wiggles out. Let's move together. You can do jumping jacks together and count them. 1, 2, 3, 4. Calf raises can also be very helpful. All right, we're going to do calf raises together. Let's go up and let's go down. That's 1. And again, up and down. That's 2. Another one that I really like is wall push-ups, and that's because it engages the muscles here, and you have both hands on the wall, and you can do this with your child, which is helpful for co-regulation and also for them to see how slow they're supposed to go. We're going to do wall push-ups, and I want you to push in and out. That's 1. In and out. That's 2. So by doing these different exercises, you're helping engage that child's body where they're at right now with feeling silly or wiggly, and then helping to bring them back to that green zone to have a productive conversation. Some other feelings that we just talked about in the yellow zone could be if they are feeling worried or feeling confused or overwhelmed, and that can also look a lot of different way for a lot of different students. Your child might need to take some big breaths or go for a walk outside, or they might need a little bit of help of focusing on the present moment of where they are right now. One of the things I really like to do is focus on the senses around me. So if you have a student or a child at home that is feeling very worried about something going on, you might be able to sit with them and say, okay, I can tell that you're really worried right now, and I can tell that because it seems like your breath is very fast right now, or you look like you are kind of confused about this homework that we're doing right now at home. So you might be able to use this language to help your child learn how to express themselves and learn what these different zones are. And then once they've learned the zones, then they themselves can say, you know, I am feeling like I'm in the yellow zone. I am feeling like I am worried or confused. Or they might just say yellow zone, and you might have a specific thing at home that you're able to do together to help bring your child back to that green zone. When we're thinking about the senses, that is touch, sight, taste, hearing, smelling, different things. One thing that I really like for what we can hear is I love my rain stick. It's just loud enough to hear that it sounds like rain and to be peaceful and brought back in the present moment, but it's not too loud to be overwhelming. You could also bring your child outside or leave them exactly where they are and say, what are 5 things that you see right now? What are 4 things that you can touch right now? What are 3 things that you hear? What are 2 things that you like to smell? And what's 1 thing that you like to taste? Sometimes describing those 5 different aspects of the different senses can help bring a child from that anxious, worried yellow zone back to that green zone and being ready to have a conversation. We also have the last zone, which is the red zone. Now, the red zone, sometimes children feel like the red zone is a bad zone because that's when we are feeling out of control and we are feeling very angry, or we are so elated and excited that we're also out of control. But actually, even the red zone is not a bad zone at all. There is a time and place for all these emotions. However, if you are working with a child at home and you're trying to have a conversation and they are having these big feelings where they are very angry or they are very elated or they feel like they are not in control of their bodies, or you might see them and think that they are not in control of their bodies, they're in that red zone. They are having a hard time being regulated right now. They are not ready for a green zone regulated conversation. They need help bringing themselves back to the green zone. The red zone is the furthest away from the green zone because it can be really hard once we get to that such heightened state of arousal, of being upset, of being angry, of feeling these really big feelings, to get back to a sense of being regulated. But there are some things that we can do. One thing that we can do with some kids, it helps to have a maze. Just a simple maze that you can print off or you can find, and I have different ones in here, but anything will work. And that's because it takes focus to work on a maze. If a child likes mazes and is ready to focus and work on a maze, that can be really helpful. That being said, not all children are going to want to do a maze if they're feeling very angry. Some children might want to use different fidgets, and I actually have some in here. Play-Doh can be really helpful if we're feeling very angry. Let's say that you have a child at home that might be more destructive when they are angry. Maybe they want to break things or tear things, or you're seeing them do things that might not be the safest choices when they are feeling in the red zone, when they're feeling very angry. Something that you can say is, I see that you really want to squeeze right now. I see that you really want to punch right now. I see that you want to rip right now. Acknowledge what they're doing and say, but what if we tried this? I see that you really want to squeeze your sister's hair, but instead, let's make sure that we're keeping everybody safe. Why don't you squeeze this Play-Doh? Let's use that energy this way. And then just let them have free range to make it and mold it into different things. Or I see the same thing, that's squeezing. Why don't we use a stress ball? That can be really helpful too. For some kids, if they are, ripping up things that might be really important that we don't want them to rip up at home, maybe you could have paper that's specifically for that. Hey, I see that you're really frustrated right now. You're really upset because I can tell you're ripping up things, but these are things that are actually really important. How about we rip up these? This paper is for you to rip up. I see that your hands want to do that. Let's do that. And that kind of shows your child at home that it's okay to be frustrated, because even as adults, we get frustrated. We've just learned better ways to manage our frustration. But it starts with being able to share exactly how we're feeling and what we need from that situation. Something that I found that works too is when you're working with a child who is in that red zone, who is very frustrated, is saying, I see that you're very frustrated right now, and I really want to help you, but we need to calm down and get to that green zone first. I really want to help you, but we're not able to talk about it when you're in the red zone right now. We need to get back to that green zone. Let's think about what we can do together for the red zone. Now, your child, when they're in the red zone, is not going to be able to tell you right off the bat when you first start using this, hey, let's do Play-Doh, I'll feel better. It's going to be a trial and error, and it might be hard to figure out exactly what your child needs to be successful to get from that red zone to that green zone. But then once you figure out a couple skills and strategies that help them get from one to the other, once you're in the green zone, you can have such productive conversations about, hey, earlier I saw that you were in that red zone. When we were working on this homework at home, it seemed like you really went to the red zone and got very angry. Or when I picked you up from school today, it seemed like you were really sad in that blue zone. Using that language more and more at home allows children to see how their emotions are coming across as well, and then allows you to start the conversation of, what happened? What do you think caused you to feel that way? Next time that you feel that way, what is something that you think that I could do to help? And then as a family at home, you're able to kind of cultivate this environment that all emotions are okay. There's a time and a place for all emotions, but it's how we express them, and in what ways can we express them that make sure that we get the help that we need from our support system. So that is the zones of regulation, and I hope that you found it to be helpful, and I hope to continue to talk about them more. I think they are so great in being able to help us express ourselves, and also to help our children be able to express themselves with all of these really big feelings that are going around for now and always. Thanks for watching.